In today's video, I will walk you through everything you need to know in using Brevo for email marketing. We'll cover pricing, how to navigate the dashboard, create emails, build forms to collect contacts, and set up automations to run your campaigns on autopilot. By the end, you'll know exactly how to use Brevo efficiently to grow and manage your audience. So first of all is that you want to go here into this website by using the link in the description. And now from here, you would want to sign up. So you want to click here on sign up free on the top right. And then from here, you would now be able to proceed by signing up with your Google account or your Apple account, or you could provide your email and password. And after that, it would send a confirmation email on your email, and then you'd have to confirm your email. So going with Google or Apple will be a much simpler and easier process. So I'm just going to sign up with Google in here. And now it would now ask us for our details. So I'm just going to provide it quickly. And now you'd have to add your phone number. So I'm just going to provide mine. And then it would send a verification code and I just have to confirm it. All right. So now here we have our verification code and click on verify. And it should now be verified. And as you can see, here we are on Brevo where we could now choose a plan. So now in here, you can go for monthly or yearly if you would want to save 10% off the price. And then next is we could go here into the currency where we could change the currency depending on what currency you'd want for the prices so that you'd be able to understand it better. Next is that we have these plans in here. So we have free, starter, business, and enterprise. And these are their prices as of this date. So depending on how far along are you with the time when you are viewing this video, it might be changed as of now as this is subjected to change. And these are their features. And you can just scroll down to see a more comprehensive view of all of the features of each plan right here. And basically, you would want to go for this free plan, which is perfect if you are just starting out or running a small business. You get 300 emails per day, unlimited contacts, customizable templates, and basic automation. This is best for small businesses, bloggers, or anyone just dipping their toes into email marketing. And as for the starter plan, this is if you are looking to grow. This plan removes the daily sending limit and gives you access to email support and advanced stats to track your campaigns. So this is best for growing businesses or content creators who want more flexibility and insight but don't need all the advanced features yet. And now for business, this is the sweet spot for serious marketers. You get A/B testing, marketing automation, advanced analytics, and priority support. This is best for established businesses or marketers who want to scale with more features and deeper insights. And lastly, we have enterprise. So this is the custom pricing for high volume senders or larger teams. With this plan, you get a dedicated account manager, advanced integrations, and top tier support. This is best for large businesses, agencies, or anyone with a big email list who needs personalized support and advanced tools. And now, as for this video, we'll just be going for the free plan of Brevo. So we're going to click here on continue with free plan. So once you have chosen your plan, you will now be able to go here into the main dashboard of your account here in Brevo. So we'll be discussing each of these features or buttons here on the left side of Brevo. So this is the menu in here that you can navigate. So we'll be discussing this so that you'd have an idea on what each of them does. So first is a homepage. So this is your main dashboard where you get an overview of your account's performance. It shows recent campaigns, contact growth, and automation activity at a glance. It is a great place to monitor your overall progress and know what needs attention. But as of now, since we don't have any history with this account yet, because this is freshly made, so we don't have that overview of the performance yet. Instead, it is showing us the calendar and then the suggested steps that you should take when you first started Brevo, like creating a campaign, adding contacts, and the automation. And you can see your plan usage since we are in the free plan. So next is contacts. So this is where you can manage all your subscribers and contacts list. You can import contacts, create segments, and track each user's engagement. It's the foundation for targeting the right audience with the right message. Next is we have campaigns. So you can use this section to create and send marketing messages like emails, SMS, and WhatsApp blasts. You can also choose templates designed with a drag and drop editor and schedule your campaigns. It is where most of your outbound marketing happens. Next is automations. So this is where you build workflows that trigger based on subscriber actions or timing. For example, you can send a welcome series after someone signs up or follow up after a link click. It helps you save time and stay consistent with your messaging. Next is transactional. So these are one-to-one emails that is triggered by specific actions, like order confirmations or password resets. They're usually integrated with your website or store to send automatically. You can customize the design and track delivery and open rates. Next is conversations. So in here, you can set up live chat on your website to talk directly with visitors. It also includes chatbots and messaging automation to help you respond faster. It's a great way to improve customer service and engagement. Next would be the deals. So Brevo includes a lightweight CRM where you can manage sales opportunities. You can track leads, set pipeline stages, and assign tasks to your team. It helps you stay organized and close more deals. So next is meetings. So this is where you can schedule and manage appointments without needing a separate tool. You can set availability, sync calendars, and let people book time with you. It's perfect for coaches, consultants, or anyone who books client calls. Lastly is the calls. So this is where you can track and manage voice calls with your contacts directly inside Brevo. You can log calls, assign follow-ups, and keep everything linked to your CRM. Useful for sales teams or support reps who work directly with clients. So yeah, that's it for these menus in here. Now you have an idea on what you can do with each one of them if that is a feature that you would need to use. Now, as for this video, we'll be focusing more on the email marketing side and not so much on the meetings, calls, and deals and so on. So now, the first thing that you must do here on Brevo is you want to go here into your profile name at the top right and click here on senders, domain, and dedicated IPs. And from here, we would now be setting up our sender name first. So from here, you could go here into senders and click on add sender. Now you can go for the from name. So let's say I'm just gonna go for Kyle Tudor. So this is how it would appear in the email, as you can see in the preview in here. So next is the from email. So from here, I'm just gonna type out my sample email right there. And let's say that this is my from email. And now I want to click here on add sender. So in here, it would now say that the sender email that you're adding is from a free provider. In that case, the emails sent from this address are more likely to end up in the recipient's spam folder. So this is the disadvantage of having a free email address. But if you have your own domain, then that is even better. And that way you can add and authenticate your own domain. But in this case, I'm just going to click here on add this sender anyway. And then as you can see, I would now need to verify, and it has sent a code into this email, and I need to type it out in here so that it will now be verified. But as of now, I'm all good. So let's say that it is now all set up. So once you have set up your sender details, next is that you can go for the domain if you have that, and then you can click here on add domain to set it up. And then for dedicated IPs, only if it applies to you. But if you don't know what this is or you don't have this, then you can just skip that. Next thing that we'll be doing is we're going to go into contacts. So this is especially helpful that you do this when you are migrating from another email marketing platform like maybe MailChimp, Aweber, or whatsoever. So in here, when you import your contacts, all you have to do is to click here on import contacts. Now, you can go for contacts, companies, deals, or notes, whatever you're trying to import here in Brevo as your data. In my case, I'll just go for contacts and click on continue. Now, in here, you could go for import from a file. You could copy paste or import from another tool. So the supported tools here are this ones right here that you are seeing. So all integrations like WordPress, WooCommerce, Shopify, BigCommerce, and so on. So you could just search for the tool in here if that's what you're interested in. But in my case, this is the easiest one right here. So I'm just gonna import from a file. So you want to export your contacts from your other email marketing platform and then upload it in here. So I'm just gonna click here. And from here, I am gonna go for my sample CSV file for my customers. Open that right there. And now, as you can see, we now have the data in here. And now you can confirm your file. Once you have confirmed that this is the correct file in here and the data are all correct, click and confirm your file. Now, in here, you can now see the mapping data option. So in here, you can see the file header, which is what this data is. And then you have the data. So these are some samples in here from the data. And then you could also choose to not import this data, or you could add a new attribute, or you could add it as an email, contact ID, last name, first name, SMS, and so on. So we just need to correctly label those data in here that we would want to import. Like for example, I would want the first name to be imported. So I'm gonna click here and select first name right here. Next is the last name. So I'm gonna go for the last name right here since I would want to import this. And also I would want their country to be imported right here. So I'm just gonna go for the country and see if we have that. As you can see, we don't. So we could add a new attribute for that. And from here, we could now go for a text number and so on. Or we could just go for, let's name this country right there and click on create. And as you can see, it has now been added just like that. And we also have some other options in here, but I think this is the best one that is suited for this data. Next is that we have the subscription date, website, and so on. So if you'd want to import that, then just label it right here. But as of now, these are all the data that I would want to import. I'm going to tap here on confirm mapping. So now in here, next option that we have is that we can now import this contacts into a list or group of contacts that we have made. But as for now, we don't have a list yet or group of contacts. So I'm just going to click here on create a list. And now I'm going to go from imported right here so that I would know that these contacts are from the one that I have imported. So I'm going to go for the folder in here. You could also create a new folder if you don't have yet. And I'm going to create a new folder called imported and create a folder. Once that's done, click on create list and then select a list. You should now see it here. And then select that. Once it's selected, you will now click on confirm your list. Now you can now finalize your import, so you can update the attributes of the existing contacts. If there are contacts in here that is the same here on the contacts that is already here on your Brevo contacts. You could also import empty fields to erase existing attribute data. You could block list the imported email contacts, which is this one. So if you want to block them, then you could just go for this option, but I don't want that. And then you could also block the imported SMS contacts or block the imported WhatsApp contacts, whatever you want. In my case, I only want this option. After that, you want to click here on I confirm that my new import adheres to these conditions. So make sure that you meet these requirements for importing the contacts. Next is that you want to click here on confirm your import. And that's it. We have now imported our contacts. And remember, we can always create a new contact manually in here if you'd like that. So if you have a new contact that you have just got, then you could just import their details in here and it will be added into the contacts. Or another useful feature here in the contacts is by going here into the segments. So in here, the segmentation lets you group your contacts based on things like behavior, location, or how they interact with your emails. For example, you can create a segment of people who clicked a specific link or opened a certain campaign. This helps you send more targeted, relevant messages and get better results. So if you would want to get really specific with your contacts, then this is the feature that you need. So now that we have our contacts sorted out, now we can now go for the landing pages and forms in here. But as for the landing page, is that you would need to upgrade to a paid plan in order for you to create landing pages here in Brevo. So in this one, we'll just be going for forms. And by the way, if you don't know what landing page is, it's basically Brevo's landing page builder, which lets you create a standalone page for collecting leads, promoting offers, or selling products. And as for the forms, this is something that you embed into your landing pages or website. So forms can help you capture contact details directly from your website or landing pages. Each form connects automatically to your contact list and can trigger automations right away. So in here in forms, we will now be clicking here, and then we could go for the sign up forms, unsubscribe form, or profile update, depending on what kind of form you need. So in this case, we'll just go for the sign up form. So now in here, we can click here on create sign up form. And now from here, you can go for the full page or that is embedded, or you could go for a pop-up one. So in this case, we will just be going to go for the full page or embedded right here. So in here, I'm going to go and make the form name a welcome form right there. Next is that I'm going to click here on create form. And now, once it's here, is that it is now loading, and let's just wait for that, and we will now be able to see our steps in here that we would need to take in order for us to fully set up this form. So first is that we're going to design the form. As you can see, it is very bare. So now we're just going to design this. So first is I'm going to discussing the details here at the top. So this is very useful. So first, this is the view for the PC, and then when you switch this into mobile, this is how it would look. So this is very helpful if you'd like to optimize your form in the PC and mobile version. So for this one, we're just going to go for PC. And then next, we have the reset button and the undo and redo button in here. Now, we can go here into the build page right here and the left side, and from here we can now see our blocks or elements that we could incorporate into our form to make it look better. And we also have the form design, so you can go for text, writing direction, background, container, buttons, alerts, spacing, and so on. So in this one, I'm just gonna go for a build, and next is we can now go for the blocks in here into our form. So let's say that as for this one, I'm gonna add a image right here, right there. So I'm gonna go for this one, right. Now, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna rename this title first. So this is the setup or layout that I want. So let's say that I am in a company of real estate. So let's say that I am promoting some house in here. And since this is a welcome form, I'm just gonna go for welcome to Sunrise Real Estate, maybe something like that. So let's say that my real estate name is Sunrise. Now we can click here on the text, and now we have some formatting options here. We can now change the font, and then the font size if we want, and then we have some bold, feature, italic, underline, and then the alignment in here. You can make it this one, or in the center, or the right side. So as for me, I would want it to be centered. Next is that I'm gonna change the color. So I have a orange brand color, so I'm just gonna select that right here on the color and select orange right here. So it should be somewhere in here and select orange. I think that's good. And now the next thing is that I actually want to change the font because I think that's pretty ugly. I'm gonna go for serif right here. I'm gonna go for serif. And we should have a more professional looking font in here. So I'm gonna go for this one. I think this one is good. Next is that I'm gonna go for the image. So now I can choose an image in here based on this image element that I have imported. Now I can click here on choose an image. Now you could go here for the files in here that you have in Brevo. You could go for stock images. But if you'd want to upload your own file, then just click here on upload. In my case, I'll just go for the stock images. And from here, I'm just gonna search for a home image or house. Or right there, house. Next is that I'm just gonna select my image. Let's say that I want this one right here. I'm gonna click on that, and now from here, click on insert. And now it will now be inserted here. I think that's good. And here it is. Next is we can now go here into this text in here to let our viewers know on what this form is all about. So let's say that we can say that subscribe to our newsletter and then stay updated to the latest properties properties on sale. Maybe something like that. Next is that you could now put an element right here where they could input their email address to subscribe or whatever kind of email you'd like to get. So as for this one, when you click on this, you would now be able to see the attribute in here. So in this one, we are interested for the email because this is a newsletter. So I'm just going to choose email in here. But you could also go for other information if you'd want. And you also have some label name, placeholder, and help text. So I'm going to remove the help text in here. And as you can see, it would now appear just like that. So I'm just going to remove that to make it look cleaner. And next is we could go here into build again. And from here, we could now add another attribute in here. So if you would want to get more than just an email, like maybe their first name or their SMS, just like this one, you could also go here. But as for this one, I'm just going to go for their first name, for example. And then you can now add this right here. So now, what you could do here is that you could go into the field size, and then you could also go for multi-lines or single line, depending on what you'd want. And then you could also go for the label name right here. You could also remove that if you don't want that to be seen, and it will be just like this. I just want to go for the help text right there and remove that, and I want the label name right there. And this is also a required field, so they will not be able to proceed unless they give their information here. But I'll just remove this one. I have just shown you on how you can create another field in here in case that you would want that. And next is that I'm going to be modifying the subscribe button in here. So in here, I could just change the font right here on the text and then the font size if needed. And it would also make the button larger. So in my case, I'll just go with 15. And then from here, we can also change the color. And then we could also make it bold, italic, and underlined, and then the alignment of the button. So you could also customize it here. I would want it to be on the left side and the background color, and so on. And yeah, I think this is already good, except for the background colors. I also want this to be orange because this is my brand color, and I want it to be darker, just like that. And now it's all done. So it's a very simple form. So you could also go for other blocks or elements in here if needed, but in my case, I'm just satisfied with this simple one. And now we can go for the mobile version, and this is how it would look like. I think it looks great. Now we're gonna click here on next, and now we can proceed to the next step. So as you can see, it says we strongly recommend you use reCAPTCHA confirmation to prevent spam bots from adding fake data to your list. So that is also helpful. So actually, that is a good suggestion. So I'm gonna go and put it here. So it should be right here under data privacy and security. So in here, we have the CAPTCHA. So we could now place it here. So we could go here, right there. So I suggest that you place this above the subscribe button so that they would complete this first before they click here, which is the correct or proper process. And now, as you can see, it has a red outline here, which means it is not yet set up properly. And from here, you would need to provide the site key and the secret key in here to correctly set up your reCAPTCHA block right here. But as for this one, I will be skipping this one. Actually, I'm just going to remove this because this is going to be a whole other process in getting your site key and secret key. So I don't want to stray too far away from our topic. So yeah, but in your case, I suggest that you get this block right here because it is very important to prevent spam bots so that you don't get inaccurate or useless data on your email. So I'm just going to delete this as of now. Next. So I'm going to click here on next now. And from here, I'm just going to go proceed here into the step 3. So now in here is that you could now select a list on where you would like to save your new data. So the data that you have gathered here on your form will now be saved into the list that you'll choose here. So I would want to import this into my imported list right here. So I'm going to click here on this list. And next is that you can click here on next. So now in this next step, we now have the option to send a double confirmation email, simple confirmation email, or no confirmation email after they have subscribed to our form. So in this one, I'm just going to go for a no confirmation email because I haven't created an email yet. That would be appropriate in here for when they subscribe to my form. So I'll be doing that later on maybe, so I could just add the settings in here and maybe go for the simple confirmation email. Because in here, you can now select a template for your email that will be sent when they subscribe here. Or go for the double confirmation one if you'd want to. So I'm just going to go for this one and click on next. And here we now have step 5. So in here in the messages, you can go for the success message. So your subscription has been successful. You could go for this one. Or for the invalid user information, you could go for the text that you would want to pop up in there. And then for the error message and the empty field. As for me, I'll just leave it as it is. I think it is already appropriate. And now I'm going to click here on next. And now from here, we could now share this. So you could share your form with a link or a QR code right here. So you can just copy this or download a QR code, or you could preview your form here. Or you could embed this into your website by using the iframe, HTML, or simple HTML method, depending on how you would want to embed your form. So as of now, let's say that we are now done. So click here on done. And just like that, we have now created our first form, which is a simple welcome form. And now the next thing that we'll be doing is we will now go into campaigns. And this is where we will be creating our email. So in here in the campaigns, so we could create an email campaign, SMS campaign, WhatsApp campaign, or web push. So as for this one, we'll just be going for email. So click on email. And now from here, we have the regular option or the A/B test. So basically, this is a split test wherein you could choose to test different types of email. So in that way, you'd know which one is the best. As for this one, we'll just be going for regular, and we're going to name this campaign the sample email welcome campaign. Maybe something like this. And create a campaign. Now, we will now be proceeding into the steps of setting up our campaign. So first is that you would want to select the sender that you have set up on your Brevo account. So if you have multiple sender details, you can click here on manage sender. And now you can just modify the sender in here on which sender account you would like to use. As for me, I'm just going to go and leave it as it is. Next is the recipient. So in here, you could add recipients on to who you would like to send this email campaign to. So you could click here, and from here, you can now select your list. So you could go for your list or your segments. As for me, I'm just going to go for a list and go into imported. And I'm going to go for this one right here on the imported contacts that we did earlier. Next is that you can go for don't send to unengaged contacts. So if you have labeled some contacts unengaged, then this will not be sent to them. Next is we have the advanced options. So this basically are just more filtering options depending if you have some contacts in here that you have selected to send to, but there are some contacts that you don't want to include in the recipients, then this is your way to do it to filter them. And now, in my case, I would want to filter them. So I'm just going to click here on save and proceed to step 3, which is the subject. So in here, I can click here and add subject. So now I can go for the subject line of this email campaign. So this is very important. So you can see the preview in here because this is important because this is the first thing that they will see before they open up your email in their inbox. So for the subject line, so let's say that this is a welcome email. So I'm going to say that welcome to my newsletter, or actually I'm going to put my name to Sunrise Real Estate newsletter, just for an example. And then from here, you could also include the name of the contact that you're sending this to make it more personal. So let's say I would want to put it here. So I'm going to go and position my cursor there and click here on add variable. And from here, you can go for the contact attributes that you have. And in here, I have the first name right here. So I would want to use their first name right there. So basically, what would happen is that their first name would appear here. So it would say welcome, then their first name to Sunrise Real Estate Newsletter. And that way, it will be more personal. It's like you're sending this individually to each one of them because it is more personal. Next is you could also choose to use AI for your subject line if you'd want that, but I don't want it, so I'm just gonna go here into the preview text, and from here I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna go for the first name, right here, first name, and I'm gonna go for this one, first name, and I will tell you about the big or the exciting properties on sale right now. Maybe something like that. Yeah, I think I'm good with this. So now once you're done, we can now proceed to save and proceed to the next step. Now, from here, we are now going to design our email content. So in here, you can now click here on Start Designing. So now you could have the layouts in here. So you could use these templates for your layouts. Actually, it is better if you use your branding in here. So when you click on Use Template, then you should have that option. Or you'd go here for the template gallery where you'd see a bunch of templates available on Brevo that you could use. So if you have one right here that you like, then you can click on that and click on Use Template or Preview if you'd want to preview it first real time. And you could also go for My Templates. So if you have some templates that you have saved and campaigns, or you could also code your own if you'd want to. But in my case, I'll just go for Setup Brand first right here. So if you have a website, this is especially helpful if that's the case. So as you can see here, it could detect brand assets from your website. Like just for an example, I'm gonna go for Google right here, google.com, and click here on Fetch Brand. And now you'd be able to see that it would now get the logo, colors, and fonts and links if it would be detected from your website. So in this way, you'd be able to import your brand assets just by providing the link. So I think that is very cool. So you can click here on Import Brand Assets, and then you'll now be able to import it right here. And click on Save Brand once you're satisfied with the options right here in the top right. And click on Create a Campaign. And as you can see, it is now like this. So yeah, you could go for this one, but actually I'm gonna go for a template gallery. I have just shown you on how you could create your own branding from a website. So as for this one, let's say that I would want this. So I'm gonna click here on Use Template. Now, from here, you'd now be able to edit your styles in the Design tab, which is right here, like the brand library, template, and so on. You'd also be able to see your branding that we have made earlier right there. So click here, and we're just gonna exit. Now, let's now build our email in here. So first is that I'm gonna modify this one. So I'm gonna edit the logo. So in here, I could just click here on Edit in Brand Library. And from here, I'm gonna replace the logo with my own logo right here. Upload logo, and I have it right here. So it's now uploading just like that. Click here and insert to finalize it. And there it is. So as you can see, it's very small, but it's fine. And then we have our colors right here, and we'll be mainly selecting orange. So I'm just gonna remove some of the colors that I don't want right there. I think this one is good. And remove this. There. And I'm gonna click on Save and Apply Brand. And we have actually just modified our branding, and it should also apply right here. As you can see, we now have it here. And actually, I don't want this logo to have a white background, and I would want it to be transparent. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to select the image again and edit it here again in the brand library. And I could just replace this with a PNG file or a transparent version of my logo, which is right here, PNG file. As you can see, click on Open, and it should now load up, and click on Insert. And that's it. So now we now have it. Save and apply now. And we should now see it reflected into our site, just like so. So now we're going to proceed to the other elements. So what I'm going to be doing in here is that I'm just going to go and edit the elements in here that would be appropriate for my brand or for my niche, which is real estate. So instead of books, I'm just going to go say properties. So now I have now customized the details of this template that would be appropriate to my brand. As you can see in here, it says elevate your experience. We're thrilled to have you on board, and we wanted to let you in on something exciting and start my free trial, because in here I am advertising an app to use our app right here to view properties and so on in real estate. And we have the start my free trial button, and it's basically the same thing when we were crafting our forms. Basically, you just click on the element and then you'd have your options here on the left side. And then if you would want to add some more elements, then you could just go here in the blocks sections and save whatever you'd want to add in here. So it's basically the same thing earlier. And same for the text. When you click on text in here, you'd have your options in here, such as text alignment, line height, the font size, and the writing direction. So if you would like to change the font, you want to go here into style. And in here, you could edit your template library, or in the text appearance in here, you can see your paragraph, font, heading, and many more right here. And from here, we're just going to go for the image in here. So basically the same thing. You can edit your image in here by clicking on replace if you'd want to. And then you can also add your text. And then some more text in here. As you can see, it says, thanks to the Sunrise Real Estate app, I've bought quality properties. I am still eyeing for more. So this is a testimony that I have made. And then next is you have your button again in here and some socials. And here in the footer, you'd be able to see download the new app, buy now, contact us, or the unsubscribe button here. So we also have our logo. And that's it. Now we can view it in mobile mode, and this is how it will look like, which I think is pretty good. So now I'm satisfied, and the next thing that I'll be doing is to click here on save and quit. Right there. And now it is saved and quit right here. And now we can now go for the additional settings. So we can click here on edit settings, and we could personalize the send to field if you don't want to. And you'd have some more other options in here, like your subscription, design, and send and tracking. But for now, I don't want to customize this. I'm just going to click here on save. And then once you're done with everything, you could now click here on preview and test so that you'd be able to see how it would look like. Or you could click here on schedule right here. So now we can just click here on schedule. And as for now is that I'm going to go and not schedule it as of now, because I will be using the automations in sending this email campaign. So, but from here, you could go for send now or schedule later, or you could also go for send at best time. So this feature would ensure that your audience receives your campaign when they are most likely to engage based on your history. So this is only available for the upgraded versions. I'm not gonna do that. And from here is that I'm just gonna go and go back right here into email campaigns, and you should now be able to see that it is now saved, but it's still a draft because we haven't sent it yet. So now, in sending this, I would use automation. So this is a good way for us to discuss automation. So now in here, let's now click here on create your first automation. And it's actually very simple. Automation is very simple to understand. So just make sure that you follow along. And now from here, you could go for the kinds of automation. You can go for abandoned cart, product purchase, welcome message, marketing activity, and anniversary date, depending on the purpose of your automation. So you have a lot right here based on the purpose. But as of now, we will be going for the welcome message because our campaign was a welcome email. Now, we're going to click there on welcome message and create automation in here. So this is basically a template of automation. You could also start from scratch if you'd want to, but I think going for a template is much easier. And as you can see right here, a new drag and drop experience. So you could select your triggers in here and then the effect and so on right there. Click on let's go. So now from here, we have our trigger right here, and you could change this by clicking here. So you could click here on the three dots, and then you could delete the trigger right there. And as you can see, it has now been deleted, and then you could add a new trigger in here. So you could go for triggers right here. So in this case, actually that one was the most appropriate one because this is a welcome email. So it should be started when a contact is added to the list. But if you don't want this, then you have the option always here to pick a different trigger here. Next is that we're going to go here into wait for 2 days. If you don't want to wait for this email to be sent, then you can just delete this. And this is what I normally do when I go for a welcome automation. And from here, I just send an email directly once they have signed up to my form or it has been added to the list. So in here, I would want to use the email campaign that we made earlier. So I'm going to click here on the delete or remove design and click on select template. and go for campaign designs, and then we should see the one that we have created earlier and click on use. Or you could start from scratch if you'd want to, but as of me, I'd want to use this one and click on use this design in automation. And there we have it. So now we can now proceed into the next one. So it has now been chosen as the message that will be sent for this step or action in our automation. And from here, we can now modify the subject line, the preview text, and many more right here. So as for the subject line, I'm just gonna go for the first name right here. So I'm just gonna remove this right there. So I'm gonna remove and click on add variable and contact attributes, and then the first name, just like what we learned earlier. And there it is. So I think that is correct now. Next is the email address and then the sender name. So if you'd want to modify this is where you can do it. And then you could also manage additional email settings in here, such as sending time, tracking, subscription, and more by clicking here. So you could modify it here. But in my case, I'm all good with this one. So click on save. Now there it is. So as soon as the contact will be added to the list, this email will now be sent. And from here, you could add another rule like a time delay, conditional split, A/B split, or wait until an event happens right here. But in my case, I'll just go for a time delay, for example, like maybe for a day. I'm gonna go for 1 day and click on save. And then after that, I could send another email, for example, right here. So I could go send an email right here. And maybe I could send an email about a discount email or a promo email that I will be sending to my new subscribers. And basically, you can place more actions, rules in here, or triggers that you would want to include in your automation process. But yeah, this is basically it for me, just a simple welcome automation in here. So once they subscribed into my email list, then they would receive this email and then wait for a day, and then it would receive or send again a discount or promo email, just like that. So yeah, once you're now satisfied with your automation, you can now click here on activate automation, or you could test it first, or you could exit editor if you'd want to save this as a draft. So in my case, I'll just go for, I'm just gonna delete this because I don't have a promo email to be used right there. So let's say just this one and click on activate automation. And now from here, you can click on activate automation again. As you can see, the automation is now activated. So now all that's left is for someone to sign up into my form or into the list right here. Once they are added into the list, then they would automatically receive those emails that I have set up on the automation. So yeah, that's it. As you can see right here, it is now currently active. So it's basically just waiting for someone to be added into the list. So that's it for the automation. So you could do all sorts of automation in here, not just the welcome message as we have discussed earlier. So this is a great way for you to be able to automate your process so you don't have to send them manually, because that would take a lot of time and effort. So yeah, that's it for our email marketing tutorial in Brevo. As you can see, it is very simple to use with just a drag and drop editor. So make sure to use the link in the description if you would want to use Brevo, or maybe just try it out. Make sure to use the link in the description to support our channel. And that is basically it for this video. See you on the next one.